And I first heard of Swami back in 1979. And immediately I read about him, I said, I want to be there. It wasn't an easy journey for me. I was on my own, and things were quite different back in those times.
And the first time I saw Swami, oh God. It was December 19th, 1978, and he looked at me, and I knew that he knew everything I had ever done, said, ever would say or do, and he loved me.
Sai Baba hooks you, and then he cooks you. And he's had me in a stew simmering for more than 40 years. I first learned about him in South America in 1969. And it's amazing, my growth about Sai Baba as a journalist. I'm also a Libra. I balance both ends against the middle. It's taken me all these years to get to the point where I finally realized that I couldn't deny the obvious anymore.
That's why he lays much of the emphasis on the unity. Beings are many, breath is one, stars are many, sky is one, paths are many, goal is one, jewels are many, gold is one, cows are many, milk is one, forms are many, but the essence is one, the divinity is one. So that oneness, that totality, that unity, the holistic approach is the greatest contribution of such Sai Baba to the modern society.
My mother said, you know, oh, Rita, God would not come on earth in the form of an Indian. No way. All right? And I loved it. But do you know what happened? My mother, between the age of 80 and 87, became a Sai Baba devotee.
This is a very important element with Sai Baba. He gives you signs, and you can dismiss them. You can say that they're part of your imagination, or you can be open to them. And when you start to see his signs, they become more and more incredible. And you have to only draw one conclusion, that he is guiding your life.
In a world continuously unfolding from a distant past, could there be one with the power to bridge the most subtle of spiritual profundity with real practice on the physical plane? In a world smitten with the division of divorcing vices, could there be one of value, drawing the strings of unity? In a world of apparent differences, different countries, different colors, and different cultures, could there be one God for the many parts?
Throughout the ages, there have always been forces embodied in human form who would destroy the fabric of society. There would be people who would destroy the way of living. They would destroy the concept of righteousness, of integrity, of compassion, of love, of social fabric. Now, within the Hindu tradition, there is the concept of the avatar, and it's a tradition that goes back countless thousands of years, where God has incarnated at different times in the human history for different purposes of preserving the human race and the very values that make us human.
For millions the world over, such a phenomenon exists as Satya Sai Baba. His name literally meaning true mother and father. To his devotees, this means the ultimate truth, the truth that is God. And yet, how can a mere being embody such a stature?
I was born in a family of reformers for 3 generations. It's quite unbelievable how I find myself here. And my grandfathers, and they all revolted against the orthodoxical way of Hinduism. They fought against casteism. They fought for women's emancipation. They were against idolatry. My grandfathers were the missionaries of Brahma Samaj. What Brahma Samaj believes in is the quintessence of Upanishads, the attributeless, nameless divinity, without a beginning nor an end. That is the ultimate teaching of even Bhagavan Sri Sai Baba. So I am from Brahma Samaj to Baba in the year 1970.
The acknowledgement of an inherent underlying divinity in the manifest world is the basis of Hinduism's ancient Vedic scriptures. Reformist movements like the Brahmo Samaj, for example, tried to steer Hindus towards this metaphysical understanding.
As a youngster, I used to frequent all the metaphysical bookshops. So on about the age of 14, I started visiting all the metaphysical bookshops around Joburg. For me, life has been a pursuit of these 5 questions. Who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here? What have I got to do? Where am I going? Going back many, many years ago, I came across Arthur Osborne's book on Shirdi Sai Baba. But by that stage, I was so familiar with the avatars, Rama, Krishna, Vamana, all the different avatars, that I knew instinctively that Sathya Sai was basically God walking on earth.
The story of this phenomenon begins in India almost 85 years ago, in a humble hamlet that was not yet on any map. Today, Puttaparthi, as it is called, is a hive of expansion with its own airport, a sprawling university, a super speciality hospital, and, for his devotees at least, a spiritual heaven on earth, Prashanti Nilayam, or the abode of highest peace.
And the first time I saw Swami, oh God. It was December 19th, 1978. I can still see his face. Swami came off and he looked at me, and I knew that he knew everything I had ever done, said, ever would say or do, and he loved me.
Irrespective of our cultures or our race or wherever we live, it is that ability to live according to these higher values, continuously evolving to what would be the highest value that could manifest in our life, and that is unconditional love. That is the intent of an avatar.
As an avatar, the divine descends on the earthly plane in order to restore righteousness and raise the consciousness of man to the realm of the divine.
Well, it so happened that my wife fell sick, and I took her around about 13 doctors in the city. But finally, somebody said, why don't you take her to Prashanti Nilayam? Well, it's almost a threat to the family. So I came here along with her and 4 of my kids with a promise that she would not insist me to do namaskar to Swami, that she would not insist me to stay there for more than 4 days. But she used to tell me every day, why don't you come and sit for a day out of curiosity? You don't have to believe him. Why can't you come and sit for some time? I said, what was our original condition? But on the last day, I said, okay, let me see how you look. So I went along with the 4 children, standing at a far off distance, such that I don't want to be influenced by being close to him. Most unusual, he came all the distance walking and stood in front of me staring and did not leave the place until I did namaskar. So I did like that with great difficulty. And thereafter, while Swami while retiring, suddenly a plate appeared in his hands with laddus, sweets. And he took that plate and started distributing laddus to workers there. Well, I thought, what all I read about this miracle man is true. Plate appearing all of a sudden with his sweets from nowhere. And I thought within myself for a moment, if you are really the divine, see that this lady will have normal health. Believe me or not, by the time we returned home, she was perfectly all right. That made me a little bit interested in Swami. Then I bought so many books, started reading. And his teachings are not against the principles of Brahma Samaj. But all the ideology that I believe in till now is not contradictory to what Swami says. On the other hand, they are complementary. I feel now that I'm a better Brahmo than what I was nearly 38 years ago.
When I first came in 1978, this is the only place I wanted to be. I went home and my husband said, well, who is he? I said, he's God.
So this phenomenon is a global phenomenon that is touching the lives of millions of people all across the planet in different countries. And what it really is the presence of divinity or God walking amongst us.
My husband said, when are you going to India? And I said, oh, I can't go to India, I'm too fat. I was, serving him his dinner then. He said, call Bernice and see if there's anyone going. So I called, and there was someone from the meditation group going. He gave me the phone number. I called that number. There was one ticket left, and I left the 13th of December, 1978 to come home.
And I first heard of Swami back in 1979, and immediately I read about him. I said, I want to be there. It wasn't an easy journey for me. I was on my own, and things were quite different back in those times. So I consider myself just the luckiest boy in the world, because it was in my life to come.
My mother said, oh, Rita, God would not come on earth in the form of an Indian. No way. All right? And I loved it. But do you know what happened? My mother, between the age of 80 and 87, became a Sai Baba devotee. She said the words that Baba teaches are the same that Jesus taught.
After high school, I found myself actually living in a cave doing meditation. As I was meditating in the cave, I had this inner intuition that soon a teacher in a physical body would come into my life and take me all the way to the goal.
It is perhaps the first encounter that people have with Sai Baba. And almost every being who follows Sai Baba as a spiritual leader has had this kind of experience. The miraculous phenomenon that is Sai Baba uses this as a calling card.
Satya Sai Baba has spawned a change of heart in millions of people the world over. Different races, different nationalities, different religious groups come together for a common experience. At Prashanti Nilayam, religious festivals of different faiths are observed throughout the year. Even during Christmas, people come from all over the world to participate in the Christmas program, that they themselves host.
But what drew me here in the first place was Swami's teaching that all is one. His teaching that we should love everybody, that you love the indweller.
So an avatar then appears timelessly to be able to change the minds of men and turn their minds back to the Godward path. So whether we approach it from a Christian perspective, a Muslim perspective, a Hindu perspective, a Jewish perspective, an African traditional religion perspective, the goal is the same, that all humans want a peaceful life. All humans want to live in love and be loved.
This ashram, under the guidance of Sri Satya Sai Baba, is host throughout the year to numerous festivals of different languages and from the various faith traditions, all with an emphasis on spiritual unity.
Sai Baba made it very well known that such a Sai is not a religion, that such a Sai is not a cult, that such Sai teachings are universal.
That the body is gifted to serve the community. It is for the service to the society.
దానికి మనం సొసైటీకి మనం సిద్ధంగా ఉండాలి.
We should be prepared, ready to serve the society.
అదే మనకు నిజమైనటువంటి సేవ.
That is the true service, the spirit of service.
Because till now I am a Christian carrying the banner of Christianity. Till now I am a Muslim carrying the brand name of Islam. What Swami wants you is live up to your religion. Meaning, religion is banner, religiousness is manner, in which you translate principles of religion into action.
You won't find a program like this anywhere else in the world, that people flock here for Christmas.
That's the joy of the music and the joy of loving God coming through your body. Use the body like that. There is one God, and He is love. All He wants us to do is love. Love, 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 love. The songs that we sing on Christmas Eve, are they traditional carols? No. They're praise and worship songs. We're offering our love to Swami through these songs. And when we do that, it's not a performance, it's heart to heart. It has to be that way, from our hearts to His. If we don't have it here, it won't come out here.
To followers of Krishna, He is Krishna Himself. To followers of Hanuman, He appears as Lord Ram. And for many Christians, He is the Father. Hence festivals like Christmas, for example, are elaborate celebrations of bonding and love.
were raised Catholic, and she was very strong Catholic. So she had a very strong foundation. But what people forget, that Sai Baba is not a religion. See, most people cannot realize what he really is. He's spirituality. Religion is a path. Spirituality is our goal. Whether you want to call it a formless God or a form God, or whatever name you want to call it, or Jesus, or whatever name, it's still a spiritual path, not a religious path. And that's what drew us to Swami.
I realized that he was the source of all knowledge and love. And if he was emphasizing love, then this was strongly supporting me in my path in life. And so I felt so happy about this, because here's someone who really knows. I didn't know if he was an avatar or this or that, or even what the word avatar means, but I knew this was someone who really knew the secrets of life.
Gradually over time, I've come to understand that we have to make effort to search, to find the truth, to understand what this is all about.
Is being in a community of like-minded beings, like-minded souls that's said about their lives, I now want to focus solely on God.
Jesus had come to teach us, and he was the example of pure unconditional love. So I was about 31 years old, and it was in the 60s, and I couldn't see that love in myself. We were fighting. I couldn't see it in my children. I couldn't see it in my family, my friends, and in fact I didn't even see it in the church. And so one day I got very upset with the Lord, and I screamed out to God in my kitchen, "What kind of a world have you created with all this negativity and hate? I don't see the love of Jesus. I want to learn what pure unconditional love is." This started a dialogue with the inner voice. And I heard inside that God was on earth in human form, in the form of the Lamb. And for me, the Lamb was Jesus Christ. So I said, is this the God in human form? Who exactly is this? Is this my imagination? And the voice said to me, this day, I will give you a sign.
This is a very important element with Sai Baba. He gives you signs, and you can dismiss them. You can say that they're part of your imagination, or you can be open to them. And when you start to see his signs, they become more and more incredible. And you have to only draw one conclusion, that he is guiding your life.
Rita began reading a book, The Holy Man and the Psychiatrist, by Dr. Samuel Sandweiss.
And when I came to the passage that said, I am the Lamb, Baba is the sound of the Lamb, I am God in human form, tears ran down my face because I knew I had found the God I was told about in 1968. And that is what Sai Baba has taught us. Not religion. It is the love that we all hunger for. It is the understanding, and it is the peace.
Yes, people come here because they feel the tremendous love beyond anything they've ever experienced before. And when you're in that love, especially when he comes to you with the love of 1,000 mothers, that's beyond anything. It'll bring tears to your eyes. You can't help it. That's his love.
While talking to you personally, one-to-one, he is so intimate, so personal. such that you begin to love him more than your own parents, more than your own kith and kin. Suddenly comes a moment, he comes forward with his divinity, that he knows everything, that he is everywhere, that he is capable of doing anything, anywhere, any point of time to anybody. That makes you bonded to him. And the glimpses of divinity will keep you in total awareness that he is not human, that he is divine.
He gave me that glimpse. And I think that is what has cemented me, along with his love, to his feet.
I've done over 100-hour-long interviews. And after so many interviews and so many people's stories that were so credible, that were so powerful, these are not people who have big egos. These are not people who are selling their story. They would never share it if I wouldn't ask them. They wouldn't even volunteer it if I wouldn't ask them. So their stories had such a ring of truth to them. They were so powerful. They were so dramatic in many cases. They're so loving that I finally got to the point in my career and in my life as a Sai Baba admirer where I could not deny it anymore. And so I'm to the point in my life where I literally believe, as he says, he is God, you are God, you are God, you are God.
I first heard about Swami in 1972. And someone said, well, he materializes things, rings and jewelry. And I thought, if you want jewelry, go to the store and buy it. You know, why would you go to India to get a ring? And at that time, I was presumptuous enough to think I could teach meditation. And there were several groups that came. And out of that group, one of the ladies said, I'm going to India to see Sai Baba. And this was in '78. And I said, what on earth is wrong with you? Don't you know that God is in your heart? You don't have to go traveling to see some guru. She came back from that trip and invited everyone in the group to come to her house and hear about her trip. So we went for dinner at her home, and she talked about Swami, and we were sitting just about this far apart, 2 meters maybe, and she was telling about his magnificence, and I said, just wait a minute. I'm an intelligent Western woman. And you can laugh at that because, what an ego thing. I'm an intelligent Western woman. I do not need an Indian guru. And as I said that, she changed. And it was Swami sitting there, just as real as you are sitting here right now. And I said, oh, no. And I'm not given to hallucinations. And I turned my head, and there he stood with his hand abaya asta. And I was saying, no, this is not for me. She gave me vibhuti to taste. And after 4 days, and I hope this doesn't shock you, after 4 days of a lot of black coffee, mouthwash, toothpaste, and scotch, I could still taste the vibhuti after 4 days.
The almost daily manifestation of vibhuti, or holy ash, is discounted by Sai Baba as being natural to him. After a circular movement of the hand, vibhuti appears and is given to be used as medicine or in times of need. But Satya Sai Baba emphasizes a deeper meaning. Ash is the end result after burning. He says, when desires are burnt, only pure love remains. That's his real offering.
It's my impression that most people come to Sai Baba's fold and to be followers of Sai Baba in one of two ways. My wife, for example, was searching for a spiritual direction in her life, a spiritual teacher, and when she found out about Sai Baba through a friend, it was just a matter of 1 or 2 days. She got a book, the Sam Sandweiss book, The Holy Man and the Psychiatrist. Everything rang true to her, and she was a Sai Baba devotee. So many people come that way, and many people come the slow way. Sai Baba hooks you, and then he cooks you. And he's had me in a stew simmering for more than 40 years. I first learned about him in South America in 1969. And it's amazing, my growth about Sai Baba as a journalist. I'm also a Libra. I balance both ends against the middle. It's taken me all these years to get to the point where I finally realized that I couldn't deny the obvious anymore.
In fact, with just 2 basic teachings of love all, serve all, and help ever, hurt never, the phenomenon of Satya Sai Baba has spawned a spiritual regeneration.
The most valued teaching of Swami's is love. Love all, serve all.
That means love everyone unconditionally. Well, if someone, gets in my way emotionally or something, it's very hard to love them unconditionally. And yet that's his direction. Love all, serve all.
He comes and he unmakes that mind. So he destroys the ego attributes in different ways, and he remakes it in the divine mold. So that unmaking and remaking is done through the miracles and then through his teachings. And this transformation process is directed in 3 modes. We have a process called educare, another process called medicare, and a third process called sociocare. So these methodologies of helping those that are less fortunate than you begins your own transformation. Fundamental to it is this change in heart. It is no longer the selfish I and me and mine. It is now about what about the others.
Sai Baba says that his life is his message. It is no wonder then that blueprints of selfless service projects that demonstrate the highest ideals are evidenced throughout his lifetime. Feeding of the poor has always been a central part of Love All, Serve All, with feeding programs organized regularly by Satya Sai centers throughout the world. Sai Baba maintains that the hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray, and that the greatest form of service is Narayana Seva, or serving the inner divinity of the needy. Many of the celebrations in Prashanti Nilayam are therefore marked by service activities dedicated to the poorest of the poor, mostly in remote villages. Such Grama Seva, or village upliftment programs, are undertaken on an enormous scale, and every detail from the planning to the execution is undertaken with an attitude of complete humility, underpinned by an all-encompassing feeling of love. Life in rural India is often trying due to scarcity of even the most basic essentials for survival. When Satya Sai Baba was born, there were no clinics in Puttaparthi. The schools were poor, and drinking water was from a remote bore well. In his lifetime, he has ensured that these basic needs were not only met in his village, but has become a formula for emulation throughout the world. In fact, this formula is based on unconditional love, of giving without any expectation of return. Safe drinking water, for example, is today provided totally free of cost to 750 villages around Puttaparthi, in a project that was announced on Sai Baba's birthday in 1994. This Satya Sai drinking water supply project was completed in a record 9 months at a cost of $63 million, alleviating the thirst of over 900,000 people, who were suffering the effects of fluoride poisoning from scarce and polluted water reserves. The project was completed by the Satya Sai Central Trust through unsolicited donations from Sai Baba devotees. Then, in 2004, 6 million people of Chennai benefited from potable water through the Sai Ganga project, which, for the first time, provided a reliable supply of water to the largest city in South India. Madras, as this city was called, was established by the British in the 1800s. It did not have nearby rivers and also did not enjoy the monsoon benefits of rain. As the city's population grew, its water needs grew to a crisis point, with the measures taken by the state proving to be completely inadequate. By providing large-scale renovation to linking canals from the northern province of Andhra Pradesh, water from the Krishna River was successfully brought to the city by the Satya Sai Central Trust. Sai Baba undertook this task without being asked and completely free of charge to the state. Further examples of selflessly giving and of recognizing the inherent divinity in everyone lie in the temples of healing or super speciality hospitals. Care has been taken in the architecture, the colors and the ethos of these hospitals to heal by treating the body, mind and spirit holistically. They provide state-of-the-art specialist medical care absolutely free of cost to the neediest of people. It is said that the most striking feature in these hospitals, besides the low mortality rate, is the absence of the accounts office. Sai Baba says that the end of education is character. He advocates that spiritual knowledge is just as important as secular knowledge, and has accordingly established a model of education institutions spanning primary to university levels, based on the highest human values. The 5 human values of truth, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence are infused in all aspects of learning, encouraging a pervasive spiritual understanding that uses information for transformation.
You see God in everyone. This is true religion. To see God in a temple, or in a mosque, or in a church, or a synagogue is a preliminary or a primary stage of learning. Later you come to a stage that you see God everywhere. Spirituality to a beggar is in the form of bread. Spirituality to a man on bed is in the form of medicine. Provide food to a man who is hungry. Give clothing to a person who is naked. Give medicines to a person who is sick. So to experience that, you have to take service, take to service.
One of the most striking things about India is not the extremes of poverty and opulence, or even the inexplicable order amidst the chaos. Rather, it is the depth of her people, their humility, tolerance, patience, their perseverance and passion.
People have often said to me, can you tell me what it's like going there and whatever. I said, very simply, all you need to do is to come to India and see what's here, because it can't be explained with words. I just say that it's a magnificent blessing just to be here.
To Hindus, this lifetime is seen as in between other lifetimes. It answers why they are here, and it can determine their way forward.
I was always drawn to India. Everything I saw from India just made me immensely happy. And it touched my heart so deeply. I felt it was a world that was beautiful, a world that had meaning, and a world that was very valuable, and that was the point of life, was to see God.
There is only one God and Chepano. He is omnipresent. There is only one language, language of the heart. There is only one caste, caste of humanity. There is only one religion, religion of love. Love is God. Live in love.
If only we'd understand that wherever we've got pain, wherever we've got suffering of any kind, God's grace is there at its best. Because they're the things that bring us round to asking, why is this so? And that can often start people on their search to understand. It's beautiful.
The turmoil mirrored in the world is almost accepted by the Hindu as a means to spiritual salvation. For it is believed, it's in this present times that the problems themselves will turn the minds of men towards the godly path.
In this age, the age of Kali as it is described by the Hindus, it is an age of tremendous turmoil. In the book of Revelations, it describes this time of tremendous chaos, and it is this time that evokes the presence of divinity.
Life is extremely difficult right now. Very difficult for the whole world. And a true test of love is to be able to stand in the middle of all kinds of negativity, hurt and problems, and still be able to generate love. If you cannot generate love through problems and negativity, then we are not living Jesus' message.
What we need today is an education, is an awareness that we are basically human. A dog knows how to behave. I don't have to tell a dog, be a dog. It knows, it is leading the life of a dog. So also donkey, a tiger, they lead the life in which they are designed in a natural style. But it's awfully, surprisingly, unfortunately, astonishingly, disappointingly, frustratingly, most depressingly, it is the man who is not behaving like a man. It is only the human being who is inhuman. Therefore, the time has come to tell a human being, behave like a human being.
This is part of the Kali Yuga. Anger, lust, greed, attachment, ego, all of those, the bad guys. They're in each one of us, just as the Atma is in there.
That's why he lays much of the emphasis on the unity. Beings are many, breath is one, stars are many, sky is one, paths are many, goal is one, jewels are many, gold is one, cows are many, milk is one, forms are many, but the essence is one, the divinity is one. So that oneness, that totality, that unity, the holistic approach is the greatest contribution of Sai Baba to the modern society.
God consciousness is being aware of God, being mindful of God as much as possible. And that's repeating the name of God, whatever name of God that evokes the most love, the most wonder, the most awe. It's just to constantly remember the name of God. And whether we sing this in kawalis, whether we sing this in hymns, whether we sing this in bhajans.
to Hinduism, in this present age of Kali, Nama Smarana, a constant remembrance of the names of God, is encouraged in order to control the mind. Hence, bhajan singing in the Satya Sai organization forms a foundation stage for spiritual evolution.
The thing that Swami says is so easy. He said the mind is easy to control. It can liberate you or it can bind you, but it's easy to control. All you have to do is say, stop it. When it starts doing its compulsive thing, or you see something you shouldn't be seeing, or you're thinking a thought that's not a positive thing, you just say, stop it. And you start the name. It will carry you. It will become so much a part of you that when you wake in the night, it's going.
Swami always says, love all, serve all. So it's natural that when our hearts are filled with love and filled with God, that we want to share that love and that it's available to share with others. So we live our life based on what we can give, how we can serve, how we can make others happy, and how we can share what we are.
Whether an avatar, a god, or a spiritual leader, today, countless souls are recipients of Sai Baba's grace through the projects he inspires, undertaken by Sai Baba devotees worldwide.
Prototypes have been set in that little village called Puttaparthi, but it's being replicated in other parts of the world. And this is the seed idea. As the millennium unfolds, we will begin to see that more and more people take up this activity of selfless service to benefit others.
First, a well for a village. Now, water to millions. First, a little clinic. Now, super speciality hospitals. First, a primary school. Now, model institutions of higher learning. First, a humble abode. Now, the majestic Prashanti Nilayam. These astounding changes on the Indian subcontinent can barely mirror the unbelievable global change inspired by Satya Sai Baba. Different countries, different colors, different cultures. One God for the many parts.